Hello everybody, welcome back to episode 50, the big 5-0 of the Contest Round podcast. If you don't know already, we're available on all major podcast platforms like SoundCloud, like Spotify, and iTunes podcasts. This is a momentous occasion. We're not really celebrating anything really with this, but you know, at 100 is a different story. But at least to say we're 1 year in and we've done 50 episodes. Myself and my glamorous co-host, that's one of the for people that follow the podcast, they'll know that I said that very much in the beginning. Glamorous co-host, Dan of Frontline MCOC. Hey, Dan.
Rich, we made it. The big 5-0.
Big 5-0.
Feeling good. Feeling good.
It's
a Friday. It's update week. My head is spinning. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot going on in the game, in both games. And in the MCU to talk about. So, let's get into it. Starting with contest being the update week. As always, it seems like update week is filled with some good and some bad. I think the good stuff is the side event and the extra stuff for this month is simple and being well received, and people like Love is a Battle Realm. You don't need to explain too much other than why you can't play week 2 yet. Oh,
don't get me started on that. I'm already...
I know.
If you follow my Discord, you'll know. And shout out to my mod, shout out to Karma and to Captain Dante, who were very kindly reminding people Rich has done 2 videos where it's been explained that the event was on a weekly basis, but still I am answering questions about whether or not and why not the quest doesn't open for the next chapter.
Right. Well, it could be worded better.
It could be, yes, it could be worded better.
It could be worded better. It was in the in-game mail, but it could be worded a little bit better inside the actual quest. Mm-hmm. But so far so good. Like in the Shattered Heart Shards, like in the Valentine's Day thing, the arena's nice. The Romance Arena, 500K.
Yeah.
With 4 stars, and you've got 7 days to do it. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Been dipping in and out with that. I think this is the biggest problem for me in update week is depending on how much content I make and what I can cover grind wise. So for me at the moment, I'm only at 37k of a grinding arena. However, though, my prioritization is always by Sunday 100% uncollected, and then I meant to try and push as hard as I can to get Cavalier done in 1 week. So this is going to be the testers, the litmus test, the test, basically the test sheet that we're going to go and try and see how quick that can be done in. And I'll just put it around my normal grind schedule. So far, so good, but that's another story for kind of like continuing on from the update stuff. And we're still yet to see, Dan, about the lunar event, but I can imagine something will be posted in the next week or so.
I think that's supposed to drop on Thursday, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
On the 11th.
That makes sense because Chinese New Year drops on the 12th.
Yeah. So that's overlaps. That would make a lot of sense. So we'll actually get these. We're actually getting a lot of fresh stuff throughout the month, or resets, because this Romance Arena resets every Wednesday. We're gonna get a new chapter of Love is a Battle Realm on Wednesday. Then we get this lunar event starting on Thursday. So there's a lot on the calendar for next week, including the Act 7.2 beta as well. So another busy week, which is cool because you don't you don't get bored when that's going on. No one's going to complain about that. We have seen a bit of the new champions. We haven't heard too much about releases or anything like that. But they did give us a 3-star Pyscho-Man. Have you played at all with your 3-star Pyscho-Man?
Only a little bit in order to kind of smash out the objectives. That's been the only thing I've been interested in using with at the moment.
Gotcha.
Mainly because I'd like to see the 5-star play out. Now, that'll be the thing. Once we can do the embargo and the lifts for the as CTP coverage, then that's going to be interesting, and having a look at numbers. So when that is an applicable topic point, I'm really going to be talking about that. But the 3-star, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I just don't know about using a 3-star. Have you played about?
Not really, and just because of time. But it does seem that the narrative around both of the champs so far, between the 3-star Pyscho-Man and the deep dive that was released for Super Skrull, is people are worried about the damage. So I think we're all anxious to see what the 5 and 6-star versions can do, because there does seem to be a narrative developing about these champions lacking damage. Now, it's still very early. Remember, sometimes the early take is correct, but there was also hot takes about Doom and Apocalypse being noodles as well, and those didn't turn out to be true.
Yeah, I didn't like that. There's somebody, I'm not going to out who it is on the forums. I always come across the same person saying the same thing on the forums about champions being weak, wet noodles and stuff. I'm like, well,
if you make the same prediction with every champion, you'll be right eventually.
Exactly.
Consistency is the key to life, Rich.
Yeah, that is true.
But I think the one concerning thing about Pyscho-Man is obviously that message we got yesterday.
Yeah.
About sort of the animations, and I don't know anyone that's been affected by this so far, but it is concerning to see something like that. I'm only speculating, but I guess it's that combination of the brightness, but also the twirling pyramid changing colors and the size changes, and there's just a lot of action with this character from his animations. Like, it's super cool, but obviously we don't want something that's cool but makes people sick.
Yeah, and that's really going to be the crucial thing with stuff like this. How do Kabam deal with the legality? Like, something I kind of post there is, I can imagine that the terms of service and the way that the legal coverage is that if anybody has an epileptic fit and is to collapse there and then, and say they might be standing up with their device that they might be playing standing up, even if they're sitting down and maybe they kind of flop forward or kind of hit to the side or anything, if there is means to cause more harm because they've had a fit or something has happened or they've collapsed, are Kabam absolved from any legality from that situation? I think they probably would have set them up to be absolved.
Yeah, I mean, that's lawyer stuff, and of course, well, what is it a Canadian issue? Does it matter what country you're in?
That's another good point.
I don't know. That's all lawyer stuff. I mean, hopefully it doesn't.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't come to that, and nobody gets really sick, and they're able to make an adjustment. But certainly for right now, if strobes bother you or you get headaches and bright lights are a bit much, remember, it's just a game. Health first, and avoid Pyscho-Man if you're at all worried right now, and we'll see what comes next. I mean, obviously, if I can't believe they would have released a character knowing this was an issue, and the quickest thing you can do in response is, of course, send out an in-game mail. Like, any sort of animation changes would take more time, so we'll have to watch and see how this develops.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad they're taking it seriously, but I hope as well there's kind of a means to kind of, as you said, if there's developer time to make alterations and changes, then
hopefully that's prioritized. Hopefully it's put in the on fire pile and dealt with very quickly, so that everyone can enjoy the game, because it's not like it's a situation where it's okay, we're putting on a strobe light show. It's all strobe lights, and it's 100% this. If you can play 180 characters comfortably and one of them is causing you an issue, that should be addressed, right? That's not normal. So hopefully that's what's going to happen, is that they're just going to tone down the Pyscho-Man a little bit so everyone can enjoy him.
Yeah. Have you exchanged any Valentine's cards or tokens or stuff?
I've sent a couple to my alt.
Gotcha.
That's about it. Yeah, that's probably what I'll be doing. Although some people are sending my alt some, so I kind of feel obligated to send it back if I can. But I'm not going to be grinding them out too hard on both accounts. But I know we're getting some from the calendar and some objectives, so I'm sure I'll pick up a few just in the natural flow of things.
Good. I've seen a few people pick up some nice stuff. A 6-star Invisible Woman I think I've seen a 6-star Domino as well. I think there was a nice little narrative because somebody put on the forums that they had, from a Romance Crystal last year, picked up a 5-star Domino, and a year ago from that, they picked up a 6-star Domino. And I thought that was a beautiful narrative to kind of go like from, 1 year on, that kind of like amazing pull has come round circle for them.
That works for sure.
Yeah. Right. What's our take on the buffs to Miles Morales and Black Panther being teased on Twitter? That's crazy.
It's crazy. They certainly both deserve it. I mean, we're talking about major characters. I would just caution everybody that I don't expect these to be the March buffs, and certainly not Miles, because if they're serious about new animations for him and potentially adding invisibility, that's not numbers tweaking. Exactly. March is supposed to be numbers tweaking, and I think Black Panther, OG Black Panther, has a really outdated kit, right? Like, he feels like he needs more than just bumping up some bleed damage. So these feel like rework champions, so I don't expect to see them updated in March. So I would just say, base your expectations on that knowledge.
Yeah.
No one said these were coming in March.
Yeah, and I guess that's the thing, is like, it's how deep and ingrained they go with it. Like with Miles, Command Mike said he would like to, and that's the thing. Like, and we'd all like to see this, the touch on stuff that we've seen popularized from games, from comic books and stuff. The way that Miles is able to go invisible, and in some ways act with kinetic force a similar way that, or kinetic based kind of charge up, the similar way that we've seen with Black Panther's Civil War, and Black Panther and the Wakandan based technology and vibranium armor. So it's definitely something we'd like to see. Right,
because they gave him a very basic version of his comic book kit. And this is, we should make the distinction that the Miles Morales we have, that is the comic book Ultimate Spider-Man version. It's not the Into the Spider-Verse version. And I really think that would be a different character. Like, that would be a second Miles Morales if we were to get the Into the Spider-Verse one. I don't think they're going to revamp our Miles Morales that's currently in game to be the Spider-Verse version. But that could be cool though, because we could have a regular version, and Into the Spider-Verse 2 is coming, so we maybe they could do something with that then.
Yeah, like a nice little tie-in. I love that.
Yeah.
God, apart from that, there's just loads of little things, loads of bugs as well. Romance synergy,
lots of bugs. Yeah,
Did you run into the romance synergy problem?
I haven't run into that, but my game has been crashing pretty consistently in the past 24 hours, which is kind of crappy. Obviously, not enjoying that. Yeah, I mean, it really feels like they're off to a rough start with the overall stability of the updates in 2021.
Yeah, we've got the persistent charges issue as well, which Kabam released a thread to try and get everybody to get feedback, as they are a little bit lost with how to solve it. Yeah,
I think that's what we're running into with these problems, is that they're not consistent. And an inconsistent problem is the hardest to fix.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I play Nick Fury and Human Torch all the time, and I don't think I've ever run into the persistent charge issue. And that persistent charge issue has been off and on for months now. It's like they fix it and it breaks, and they fix it and it breaks, or they think they fixed it and it hasn't. We don't really know. But it's been a big issue, and those are hugely important characters.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
it's tough. I know they're trying.
Yeah,
they don't want it to be broken.
No, they don't. But we are literally going into a not a bad state for the game. I know that a lot of people are getting a bit kind of frustrated. I don't know if it's because a lot of the new developer, because they're developing a lot of stuff in the background from, you know, the Arena 2.0, the like the boss thing. Is it like a boss battle? The raiding. That's it. Sorry,
the
raiding. Yeah. So they're developing that. So I don't know if whilst they're developing all this stuff, whether or not it's causing errors and issues elsewhere based on interaction, possibly. Don't know. Just have to really see what's
possible. I mean, if I had to guess what the problem is, I think it's unfortunately one of those symptomatic things from the office being shut down and people working remotely, because I don't know, this is just my viewpoint from an outsider's. Like, when you have a bunch of people working on a project in a room, there's that magic that happens when you're like, oh, I saw this person and they're in a different department and that made me think of something. And when you're working remotely, you don't always put the pieces together and say like, oh, like maybe I should just run this by someone else to see, is this going to affect Alliance Quest, or is it, clearly they're trying to do their due diligence, but at the same time, like, I just think there's a little bit of the magic sauce that is missing when you can't put people together. And that's not an MCOC specific thing. I just think that is in general is you miss the impact that your individual actions will have on others when you're not seeing them as much. If you're not thinking of what they're doing. So a lot of it just feels like that the fact that they can't get in a room together and have their normal office is sort of affecting the quality of the game. That's kind of how I feel about it. I mean, there's nothing. It's nobody's fault. There's nothing they can do about it. I just think it's a symptom of what's going on
circumstance
right now. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not their fault. It's just it just feels that way. And this has been going on for a long time, and we've had some persistent issues with update quality. Like, it's not just a one-time thing anymore. Like, it feels like we go into triage mode every month when the patch drops. At this point, like, I don't know about you, but I've like everyone like, is this a bug? Is that a bug? Report this, report that, and you try to sniff all this stuff out so you can get it fixed. I mean, even if it's simple stuff like the Cavalier calendar disappearing.
Yeah. That was a weird one to like.
That was a weird one. That was a weird one, and it's not the end of the world. They've got to take care of the compensation. It doesn't affect gameplay. It's not costing someone an alliance war. But it's supposed to work. It's annoying. Like, it's clearly something got missed. So it's tough. I mean, hopefully everyone gets vaccinated and we can open stuff up and Kabam can get back to the office. And I think the other thing that when you talk about them not being in the office is device compatibility, because you don't have all the developers there with that pile of phones to test everything, right? And you've reported on this endlessly. I feel like the device compatibility issues, right?
Yeah,
like that's another thing where I feel like they're hurt because of the circumstances of not being able to put everyone in the office. But that's I don't know that for a fact. That's just my read on the situation.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Okay, now we've got to move on and we've got to talk about WandaVision.
WandaVision episode 4.
Yeah.
Oh snap!
This was great.
This was fantastic. This was this was the episode everyone was waiting for, and I think we've sort of gone back and forth where I'm in that camp where I sort of like the storytelling and enjoyed the sitcom Winks. I know a lot of other people were waiting for it to feel more like the MCU. And this clearly feels like the MCU now. And it, that episode 4 is a rocket ship blasting off from the first second when we see Monica rematerializing from the blip, and we understand now when we are. That added a huge piece of context to the show.
I think this was the point where I started enjoying it, and I did question why they didn't, because it kind of went in parallel to what has been going on for the last 3 episodes. I was a bit like, and even like Em had the take. She said, why the hell did they just not like film it in a way that they kind of went whilst they're watching from the outside the TV show, that it then goes into the aspect of the episode, and just kind of go a bit further on that one, and kind of jumping the gun to the episode which we've both seen, episode 5. That I'm not going to talk about that because we're going to talk about it next week. But the way that it's shot is now how I would have liked it back for 3 episodes, and in this 4th episode as well. So,
yeah, I mean it's a storytelling choice. Certainly, I mean, if it had been like what you're talking about, where it was sort of the back and forth swapping all along, then you don't get that big cathartic release in episode 4, and episode 4 can't burn through its pace as quickly as it can, which was sort of the exciting part of it. We're like, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. It's sort of where do you want to stage the reveals, right? But I mean, it's so great to see Jimmy Woo back. That nod with the card trick, and Darcy, love Darcy.
Yeah,
having her back. But yeah, I mean, we just learned so much during episode 4. What did you feel about Wanda's like editing the broadcast, right? So we didn't see her really flip out on Monica in episode 3, but we see what happened, her being expelled from the hex zone. Like, what did you think about that moment where Wanda goes red, you see her start to power up, and she throws Monica out? How is that for you?
It just goes to show you something that's happening about this perfect little bubble for Wanda that she's creating, and by expelling something that doesn't belong, especially somebody that's more stronger in mind, because a lot of what's going on is that everybody seems to be under the control of Wanda. So because of independent thought against the control, she is a threat, or she's kind of like brushed it off. And maybe there's a moment of weakness that Wanda then allowed her to free think and say about Ultron and Pietro, and that just then started like making her kind of all uncomfortable and weird. It was then the next part where I was like, when Vision comes back in and the room and says, where did I can't remember, what's the character name? Geraldine, isn't it?
Geraldine. Yeah, Geraldine's the Westview.
Where did Geraldine Monica go? And then she turns around and it zooms in on Vision as like his dead, like the dead face.
Yeah, like and that was the head explosion boom emoji.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, that whole episode with that crazy pace was just designed to just make you go nuts right there. It was so much fun. Like I mean that was the point for me. It was just like, we're having so much fun. Like, this was the first episode where it's like, all right, I have to watch this again, like right away to like pick this apart, and so much fun. But it's really interesting to learn where we are in the timeline and how the fact that Monica got snapped, and this is basically like 3 weeks after everyone returns in the blip. So I guess this is taking place before Spider-Man Far From Home then. In the timeline.
This will be the crazy
so
thing,
that's kind of interesting, because we know we've got something with Spider-Man coming down the line.
When it comes to the other elements from that show, this is the real time that Vision is starting to question something.
Yes, he's starting to crack.
Yeah, because his neighbors are kind of going a bit funny, and he's really been questioning like what the heck is going on, to a point where this is going to very become self-evident in episode 5. But from this episode, we learn that Monica Rambeau has the lineage, or kind of, she's the daughter of Captain Marvel's best friend, who I can't remember that for the life of me. She's the little girl who, as Dan knows, but I don't know if anyone else out there doesn't know. She's the little girl that's sitting on the porch with Captain Marvel before she blasts off to go and save the Skrulls. I just can't remember the mother's name.
Yeah, so the Marcia Rambeau.
Marcia Rambeau, that's it.
Right. So Captain Marvel takes place in, I think, 1995. Right. So this is, I think it's happening in 2022. Someone's going to correct me in the comments.
I think it's 2023.
If I'm wrong. Is it 2023? Okay, yeah. Because there's that 5-year gap.
Yeah.
5 years plus 3 weeks. So yeah, so that's what's happening, and I mean, I think it's safe to say episode 4 converted any of the doubters. So that's cool. Now we won't get into episode 5. Episode 5 is, if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go watch it before we talk about it next week. I imagine you already have, though. There's been a lot of speculation on the internet about a big cameo at the end of WandaVision. Do you have a prediction on the big cameo?
Well, at the end of the show, because the thing is, I thought this, a lot of people were like, oh, well, this dropped on Thursday, and then, Friday drops. And let's just say, right, when we're recording this is on Friday, episode 5. Has a cameo of sorts, which, if you've seen it,
somebody shows up.
Somebody shows up.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, I have this feeling that it's going to play more into, like, a lot of people said, oh, it's going to be Magneto, and I've been like, yeah, okay, I understand where people go with that, and maybe we're on the back of episode 5. That's definitely a possibility, but I'm sticking strong with my Doctor Strange in order to set up the tie-in to Multiverse of Madness. What are your thoughts?
I think that's the most likely candidate, certainly because we already know that they're both going to be in a movie together. Yeah, and we're so that's certainly a valid speculation, even if it is the obvious one. If I had to pick, and I can't pick Doctor Strange because you already picked him, I would say that it's Captain Marvel, because you've got the obvious tie-in with Monica there, and you need to get her into Captain Marvel 2 somehow.
That's true. Would we say that she'd be imbued with the powers and maybe be the new Captain Marvel?
That's possible. Yeah, I mean, Monica does become Captain Marvel in the comics for a while, and has a similar power set as Carol, not completely the same. Hers more is based on like light speed. Yeah. But she still becomes an Avenger in the comics. She's incredibly powerful. So it's interesting to see like what they're gonna do there. I would be shocked if it's Michael Fassbender. Like that seems like just craziness to me. If I'm wrong, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep my brain in my head if he actually shows up and they really open this up with mutants. I don't feel like they're going to do that. But I mean, anything's on the table.
Yeah, especially after episode 5.
Especially after episode 5. They did something in episode 5 that I did not think they were going to do. Let's put it that way. There's something that I had been poo-pooing the fanboys on. Yeah. So, what are you going to do? We will see. We're going to keep watching is what we're going to do.
Yeah, damn right.
Absolutely. But good job, WandaVision. Let's see. They've got 9 episodes. We just saw episode 5. So that means we got 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 4 left. Oh, boy.
Yeah. I've done my sums right. I think the next episode 6, will be the Halloween one.
Oh, I'm excited for this just because I love the Halloween costume still of Vision with the OG Vision cosplay look.
Yeah,
let's call it. Like, what's going on there? That looks like fun.
Also, Funko Pop have ruined what Billy and Tommy are going as for Halloween.
Oh, are they going as their comic book selves?
Yeah, they are. So,
love it.
Yeah, I saw that by accident, and I was like, "Oh, right, okay. I guess that spoils what that is." But that's still pretty cool. More on the story of those two in next week's in podcast. We're gonna talk about that then.
We're enjoying the WandaVision, and I'm trying not to look at any of the Falcon and Winter Soldier stuff that's starting to leak out.
Oh yeah! By the way, today, which will be the Super Bowl trailers, apparently there's one for Venom 2. There's also one for Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I think there's some others as well that are going to be coming in the future. So somebody said there's an Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer, but I don't know. I'm just not really kind of.
Oh wow! Are they actually?
I've heard rumors, but I don't know if that's true.
It's a good time to be a nerd.
Yeah. Right, I best think it's time for us to talk about Marvel Realm of Champions.
Marvel Realm, a bumpy week for the Realm. It felt like. I just think there's the people that have been sticking with it and are enjoying it, like we are. I just think there's a lot of questions right now.
I've actually reached the point where I'm not enjoying myself that much.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. Look, new update time with MCOC is my priority, and I will always kind of prioritize that. I've always been very concerned about the numbers behind it, and I'm not going to overly poo-poo the game, because I do still love the game, and I will like, after I've got a lot of the MCOC stuff bashed out, I will then go back to the grind with Marvel Realm. But there's been a few kind of like little bits of catalysts which have now put me in question with the game. Right. And as you kind of prepared the notes for today's podcast, and one of the questions that Dan put is, are we in extended beta? And you're right. We very much are. And I don't know really where to start with kind of like I don't want to spend like all the time criticizing it, but there's a lot to criticize. The main catalyst was the inventory deal which kind of dropped, and we were like, and something you talked about, you were like, I would love to see more slots available for my gear. So when you click on a piece of gear, which if you're watching on YouTube, I'm clicking on a piece of gear, and I only have 25 slots available. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different types of areas which I need gear for. So, you do the maths and go, right, that's two potential gear slots. That's not, Richard. It's four potential gear slots. But here's the thing: the way that the game works is you'll end up having to like gear stuff a certain way. You may go, oh well, I need that one, and that one, and that one. So you may need 6 pieces, because one has one stats for one way gearing, the other one will be a different way, another one will have a synergy, and another one you may need for a different kind of reason.
Right.
And even more so as the future lies in you'll need more weapon types, because there's going to be more weapons. So that already is
more weapon types, and sometimes you get a cool synergy that you can't activate, so you have to carry that piece for a while.
Yeah.
Because you want to use it, but you can't use it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of like, well, what direction am I going to build around? And it's tricky. I mean, I think we talked about with Storm where it's pretty clear you want to have a weapon build for both of those, but you might have to swap out a lot of your gear to do that, and it's going to take some time. So part of me was excited to see the inventory deal. And I mean, on one hand, you could look at it versus MCOC and say, like, okay, like MCOC has inventory increases with levels, which is good. And then if you want more inventory, you have to pay cash, and it's temporary, where this was for units and it's permanent. So that's good. But they've also got that weird scaling of cost that's going on. So it gets more expensive as you buy more inventory. But clearly the feedback was so resoundingly negative that they felt compelled to pull the deal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, were you getting feedback on that from your channels, or I don't know if you were lurking?
Yeah, I had like conversations with people, and I decided to make a video on it. And I know that a few people like recommended Kabam to watch said video on the subject. I just found it very unusual. I do think that it was cool that they added it in, but the method in which it just felt like, well, what are you working for in this game? And that's the thing. There doesn't seem to be. I don't know. There may be like some out there that disagree with the narrative. Like, what are you actually playing for in the game? Man, what are you paying? You're playing for getting new gear, gearing your champion a certain way. But the only place that you end up using it, because all values in deathmatch result back to a flat rate, and stronghold is. Barely anybody plays Stronghold, and if they do, it's just like, I don't know, rare circumstance that the event is on like Red Dawn.
Right.
So you end up having to like put it into Arena Conquest, but Arena Conquest only becomes fun when you don't realise that everybody has got unique synergy groups, amazing gear, and has it completely ramped up, ranked up, and you're then there, and also like doubling up on champions, and especially at the time where everything is too OP, and the balance changes, which were announced about a week ago, still have not gone into the game, which is so desperately needed. The other main thing for me that's causing an issue is outside the Arena Conquest and Stronghold. Well, out of Arena Conquest, there's nothing really to do that's interesting. The World Quest, which were kind of rumoured to be which were in part of dev notes, there's no rollout time for it. And I know Kabam mean well by this game, but a lot of the stuff feels like this could have been this game could have been delayed further, and all of these type of events and stuff could have been added in. And you look at the likes of Diablo Immortal. It's not exactly the same game, but it's a game that, and the same thing with Marvel Future Revolution, announced similar time. Diablo Immortal was announced back in 2018, both mobile games. And they have not put out those games yet. I mean, good on Kabam for putting out the game.
Right.
But there's nothing else to do in the game bar Arena Conquest. I don't know if that's...
I mean, the game needs a serious injection of hype right now. Like, even as someone who likes the game, I've seen the revenue numbers that have been posted. They're not good.
Yeah,
they make you worry. There is a general lack of buzz about the game. I think they're, like you said, they're in danger of boring the people that do like the game, that would be ambassadors to the game, that want to get people to join the community. And there's a lot riding on 2.0, because 2.0 is, for me, is somewhat make or break, where if, let's say 2.0, they do the balancing changes and it works, and they bring out World Quest and new game modes, and we get Thor, and like suddenly like it feels like there's something going on here in a buzz, like they can get things headed in the right way. And that narrative that, okay, were we in an extended beta is true, and we see like, okay, they really did have a plan, they're ready to go, it's okay, like hopefully things start moving now. But if 2.0 is really just the balancing changes and we don't see much else, then we have to question, like, what is the plan? Yeah. And is it going to come together quick enough?
That's true. It's all down to the numbers. And it's like, I'm still, I've said in like videos and stuff, and content. I'm devoted to a 6-month period of playing Marvel Realm of Champions, even through this blip. But when stuff like what has happened with that inventory type deal situation, it's meant me kind of like going, right, well, I'll put it on the back burner for the first 2 weeks of the month because I'll put all my effort back into MCOC, and then for the remaining 2 weeks, I'll just play Marvel Realm more extensively. So the numbers game is a bit of a thing because I have to treat this as like what I enjoy, but also at the same time what is doing well. And on my second channel, and what I've seen numbers wise, it isn't great really, and that's the sad thing.
It's not. And do you see anybody out there just crushing it on YouTube with Realm numbers? Because I don't see anybody doing it.
No. And this is the sad thing. Like Marvel Realm of Champions, an official video, a deep dive video, which is now referred to as the debriefs, not the deep dive as MCOC. Mm-hmm. Yesterday they put out a video. It's sitting at 1.4k views, right? And to give you an idea of like how the numbers are for Marvel Realm of Champions, I put my current state of Marvel Realm of Champions. Why is the deal kicking the structure of the game? That video is on 611 views, right? Which isn't exactly where the numbers were back when the game was first released, as my first game guide for the video did 17,000 views. And I thought this game was off for a good start, right? And I think after the first month, it's make or break for Kabam to get themselves in a position of adding in some decent content. And I gave it the first month. I think you should always give a game the first month the benefit of the doubt. They posted that dev diary. I thought, great, right. And then nothing seemed to happen. And sorry, just going to answer the question. You're right. Relative numbers, a month ago, Unstable Gamer posted a video, did 4K. All the other times with other creators, we've seen, again, something low. How to get Super Soldier for free back last month, 124 videos. Somebody who are the best characters in game, 2.2k views. Unstable Gamer, 30-day account game progress 2 weeks ago, 356 views. It's just a case it's low. It's low numbers. And I thought mine was ridiculously low, but it's not.
No, it's not. I mean, even if you just go by like what's the like the Twitter buzz. Like I know I've built up a Twitter based on an MCOC audience, but it's still really low anytime I put something something up. Or you look at say like WandaVision, who's been, he's kind of the Otrix of Realm. Like, it's not like people are storming the gates to see what the leaks are.
Yeah, that's the problem with it, and I don't know if it's going. I think there's Night Skies, Vulcan. There's a few people that kind of cover some stuff, and I am very happy with the Marvel Realm of Champions content I have produced since launch.
Yeah,
but it's not there though. It does, and this is the thing about the concern.
It's a traction issue with the game.
Yeah,
absolutely.
As I said, I will give this game 6 months. I think 6 months is fair to kind of put my time and effort into it to see what I get back from it. Which in that time I'm probably going to commit now to be a free-to-play player for 6 months. As we've both said, if they put in something of a monthly type sigil program or something that's got you get something for that sigil, or even like a unit deal, which we've both said we're unsure what units-based deals we get. Although for me, I probably will save up to get another one and keep doing the epic bundle deals, as they seem to get me better gear to further progress in the game at all my champions being defender level. But it is a very unsettling time for a game that I had high hopes for. I have to say the first month, even like day, 2 days, week, especially out of the beta, which was like, man, if you're in the beta, we never got a game. We never was able to play with anybody.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like it feels like it's moving too slow. I mean, I understand there's always an argument for patience and not wanting to rush things. But these become business decisions too, right? Like they can only there's no way they're recouping right now.
No.
So they can only keep this going for so long if the game doesn't start generating revenue. And to do that, they need to get a bunch of players hooked.
Yeah.
and it doesn't feel like that right now. I mean, it's almost hysterical when think about the narrative a year ago where people were worried about like Realm killing off Contest. It's like
it feels like now Realm is second
not even
fiddle.
Close.
It's like it's like the pet project, really.
Yeah, I mean, and we haven't even seen. I thought that we were going to get a big crossover with the launch of Realm in MCOC. Like that's what I was expecting. Now, we've got the character map. It seems pretty clear that the Black Panther and Iron Legionnaire from MCOC are coming to Contest. So, like, I feel like they've got one more shot where they're going to try to reintroduce this game to the Contest folks with that crossover. So there's a lot riding on that.
Yeah, I hope and wish so much kind of like goodwill on them. I've just found my video that I posted about the I'm just gonna get some of the changes that they were planning to make. So if this is from the Marvel Realm of Champions website, I'll kind of like throw this on the YouTube video, and it's called Dev Diary: A Look Ahead to 2021. This was posted back on the 17th of December. So we're going to come up in the next 2 weeks.
Day after launch.
Yeah, and we're going to come up in the next 2 weeks to 2 months since there. And let's kind of like I'll just kind of like read off some of it. I'll just send you a link just quickly whilst we're recording. And the world quests. So weekly world quests will send you to the corner of the Battlefield as you continue to discover the mysteries that the planet has to offer. The quest will require you to think critically about what champion you'll bring and the loadout you go into battle with. These quests will test your skill, not just power. Experience handcrafted stories that progress as each world quest releases. New conversations between the barons of the Battleworld and a new codex entry. We haven't heard anything of that, and that would have been something different and new. Sets for every occasion, that hasn't come in. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else. We're working to make alliances more important and engaging as we continue to develop and involve Marvel Realm of Champions. We want to increase your opportunity to collaborate with friends, face off against rivals, and reward you for playing together. The first iterations will come with Alliance events. Milestones, rank rewards will be achievable through points that are acquired through the Alliance collective participating and progressing in the game. Nothing kind of driving that camaraderie. Leaderboards.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't updated the news articles on the website since December 18th.
Yeah. Legendary gear hasn't come in yet. Further and beyond the battle rating cap and demonstrate how proficient you are with champions. I know they've had to get in a lot of balance changes to the way that champions are. Like some champions are more powerful than others based on certain gearing and sets and stuff. But that's just the thing. It's like it's biting off maybe more than you can chew.
To be expected, yeah.
And you're right. They've got to get this done. This stuff. Even the world quests, like if world quests went in with the launch of the game, or at least they plan to put out the month after, they're just steadily kind of like biting on they're not letting the hype go. They're kind of biting on for dear life as they're keeping the hype going. World quest, pair up with your buddies and take on this stuff. Go solo and deal with this. Like it allows.
And I mean, we need something new, and I really feel like we're all feeling that it's lacking right now because we didn't get a new champion. Like at least when we had Captain America Super Soldier come out, like that was something to chase, right? Like it was a new game mode that you had to play to acquire him, and then of course you'd want to do the usual, like, all right, I want to gear him up, get him ranked up. Like that was a little bit of new spice, and that I feel like that tided us over. And this Hulk thing, like the rewards are good, but it doesn't feel new because it's really just kind of objectives in the background.
Yeah. And this is the problem that I've got now, is a lot of my friends or usual people, I don't think they play. I mean, it's difficult with MCOC having a new update, and for those who do MCOC and MROC, and that's really for me. As I've said, I'm prioritizing my MCOC stuff. That's why you got 5 videos on Wednesday, 3 videos on Thursday, 1 video on Friday, and I'm going back next week to kind of like doing 2 videos a day in order to kind of like push videos on this new content. But then when I go to Marvel Realm and I kind of like go into the Discord and I'm looking for group, it's dead. Unfortunately, it's quiet. I see the same people looking for group. I'm looking at the global. The global's not as active as it should be. It's normally popping off, and this is the time when Command need to be launching these new things to excite players and get them interested.
Yeah, totally agree, and they really need to. They can't just do one thing. It needs to be consistent momentum. I mean, you can say what you will about contest and how relentless that game can be at times. But they've managed to find a promotion cycle that works for them. Yeah. And that always keeps us wanting to know what's next. Yeah. Whether it's the champion releases, whether it's new quests, whether like new game modes, like I mean it's the complete opposite. Like sometimes with contests we're like, you guys can slow down a little bit. Like we don't we don't need we don't need a new variant and the latest chapter of Story Quest released 7 days apart.
That's true.
Some people do. I know there's some people that can play through that in a week, but I certainly can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Realm is way too far in the other direction.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish them all the best. And
yes, absolutely. We want them to succeed. It's just this comes from a place of genuine worry.
Absolutely. But I think that's it. I think we've covered a lot of the Marvel Contest of Champions and Marvel Realm related content.
Absolutely.
Put it in a nice package there. What are you up to next week, though?
Oh, I'm going to be grinding away. So much to do. I think I'm going to be playing the game a lot, trying to work through a little bit of Act 4.2 on the free-to-play account, get those guides out, and we'll see. Maybe we'll work on some Act 7 on my main this weekend, or maybe I'll watch a movie. I'm leaning towards watch a movie.
We'll see. So much to do with 7.1. Not ridiculous amounts. I've got like one path to do in, say, the first 3 chapters. First 3 missions or first 3 quests even. And then I've got a bigger chunk to do. I like to save it for like streaming, so I have always this pattern of going like, I'll stream uncollected for the first 3 days of, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then on Monday I start the Cavalier grind, and hopefully if this is, as Kabam have kind of like said, it is meant to be the better than it is. I've done 3 quests so far, it seems alright. But if it is a case that it's taking less time, then it means I'm freed up. I'll then go and check out on Tuesday the new 7.2 beta, see what the crack is with that, or Wednesday, whenever it's put out, and then I'll go and do 7.1 100%, and I might be able to squeeze in one, and I'll definitely do one Path of Abyss, but if I have time I might try and squeeze in a second Path of Abyss after 7.1 100%ing, if I can.
There you go. Busy man.
Yeah.
We should definitely talk about the new Cavalier nodes next week.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting a lot of feedback on both sides from that. So
yeah.
It's funny. People nobody liked diss track until it was gone.
Yes, I was like, I've got all my perfect counters. Now all my perfect counters are gone.
I know that's really what it feels like.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for listening to the Contest Run podcast. You can find us on all the major podcast platforms and as well on YouTube. Don't forget as well to follow Dan at frontlinemcc.home.blog. Make it your homepage, as it's all incredibly amazing info, including full information about side quests, guides, and just the good stuff about the game. Go and check it out. And also, we'll see you all next week for episode 51. Bye-bye,
51.
Everybody. 51.